Hello, welcome to your first lesson of pre-calc. So today what we're going to do is we're going to do a linear review. So the first thing you need to do is find that gridded notebook that you got. And in the front of that gridded notebook, we're going to make a table of contents. So pause the video if you need to go find that gridded notebook that was in your supply box. All right, so the first thing I want you to do is at the top, the first page, let's write table of contents. Whoops. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to start organizing this by topic. So the first thing we're going to write, and we could even draw a line down this way. We're going to do and actually I think I can switch this to gridded paper. There you go, I think that might be easiest to see. So follow this on one of the grid lines here, hopefully. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to write down that we are going to do a linear review. And then we can add over here our linear review. It's going to be page 1. And then you're going to go through and start numbering your pages. So now let's go to page 1. So maybe you mark that in the top hand corner or the bottom corner, and we'll write linear review on there. So most of this stuff should be a review of things you did in advanced algebra and algebra. But if you're looking at this and having trouble remembering stuff, let me know and we can always meet to go over some of these topics. So the first thing we're going to review are lines. So everything we know about lines. We know lines are in the form y equals mx plus b. And so if you guys remember this, I got to make this smaller here. M, that's our slope. B is our y-intercept. So if the first thing I asked you to do, if I said graph, and I'm going to use function notation because if you guys remember, y is the same as f of x. So if I said f of x equals negative 3/4 x plus 2, and asked you to graph that. So let's make a graph. Let's make a coordinate grid here. And that's the nice thing about these graphing notebooks is we have these grid lines. We can easily make this. And so what is our y-intercept? Well, our y-intercept is 2. So remember, y-intercept is the one not by the x, and our slope, negative 3/4. So I'll go down 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and connect this. And then we have our line, 2 minus 3/4 x. So sometimes lines aren't always in that form. What if I said graph, let's see, 3x plus 4y equals 8. So this is what is known as standard form. So I'm going to put a little star here and remind that this is standard form. And there's a couple different ways you can graph it, but most people remember solve for y. We always solve for y. So if we were to solve for y on this equation, we would subtract 3x, and we'd have 4y equals 8 minus 3x. I'm going to check something real quick. I don't think it's recording. It is recording. Okay. So how we continue to solve, we divide by 4, and we have to divide everything by 4. So now we have y equals 2 minus 3/4 x. And so we could graph that again. Is that the same one as up here? It is. So that's the same one. It's just written in a different form. Our y-intercept is first. But we graph it just like we did right above. So we have 2 down through 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 4, and we have that same line. So sometimes things will be written in standard form. So the next thing we're going to talk about is if given 2 points, do you guys remember how you find the slope? So if we were given -3, 7 and 4, -3, how do we find the slope between those two? So a lot of you slope words. Rise over run is a lot of times what people say. And remembering is rise are our y values over our x. So all we do is we subtract them. And you usually see the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we can subtract -3 minus 7, 4 minus -3. So -3 minus 7, we have -10 minus a negative, so a positive. So -10 over 7 is our slope. So now we're going to talk about writing the equations. So if I said write an equation in slope-intercept form, and I'm going to do some abbreviations here. And we're going to look at 2 like this. So I'm going to put letter A. So the first one, let's say we have 6, -2, and its slope is equal to -2. Well, we have to, our final thing needs to be in slope-intercept. So I'm going to write y equals mx plus b. Well, our slope is -2, and I tend to put things in parentheses when I'm plugging them in. So -2. Well, we don't know any of these other letters yet, but we do know that this is an x and this is a y. So we could plug in -2 equals -2, our x is 6, plus b. And now we could solve. So -2 times 6 is -12 plus b, plus 12 plus 12. So we know our b is equal to 10. So our final equation would be y equals -2x plus 10, because we just fill in that m in the b. So let's take a look at another one here. So our second one, let's say I give you 2 coordinates. So 3, 3, and 6, -1. And I'm still saying write this in y equals mx plus b form. Well, we know how to get the slope now. Our slope, -1. So we take our y's, -3 over, we take our x's, 6 minus 3. -1 minus 3 is -4. 6 minus 3 is 3. So we can go over here and say, okay, so this is -4/3. And now it's just like a problem above, and it doesn't matter what coordinates. Maybe I want to use the 6 and the -1 for the x and y. So I can plug in -y equals our m times 6 plus b. So we have -y equals, let's see, that'd be -4 times 6, so -24 over 3 plus b. Well, -24 over 3 is -8. So if we add 8, we have 7 equals b. So our final equation is -4/3 x plus 7. And so we would have got the same thing if we would have used that other coordinate. So if we would have said y equals mx plus b, we know this is -4/3, but let's use the other one. Let's use 3 and 3. we'd have 3 equals negative 4 times 3 is negative 12 over 3 plus b. So 3 equals negative 4 plus b, plus 4 plus 4. So once again, we have our b equal to 7. So the only thing I want to remind you guys of is let's briefly chat about slope again. So if we have a line going up, we say that's a positive slope. A line going down, that's a negative slope. But we also have a vertical line and a horizontal line. So remembering that it's rise over run. Well, this vertical line is rising a lot, but we don't know how much. So we say the slope is undefined. And where this horizontal line rise, it's not rising at all. So we say our slope is 0. So when you look at the equation for those lines, I'm going to make a quick coordinate grid right here. Let's say we have a vertical line. We know that slope is undefined, and if we look at this, everywhere on this line, for example, this is negative 3, 2, negative 3, 1, negative 3, 0. Our x is always negative 3, so this line is x equals negative 3. We don't have a slope. There isn't a number next to that x. Now, if we were to draw one going horizontal, we know our slope is 0. And if we look at this, this is the coordinate 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2. So we can see everywhere on there, our y value is equal to 2. And we have the equation of those lines.